Welcome to the 10x Factors interviews, where we speak to high achievers on what they do differently to get amazing results in their work, business, or investments. This episode is brought to you by the 10xfactors.com, which is a resource for employees, entrepreneurs, and investors who want to grow their income using smarter and better strategies. So if you're an employee, you learn how to get noticed, get promoted, and get paid more by building real value, not just working longer hours. If you're an entrepreneur, you'll find ways to scale your business using systems, AI, and special strategies. So you can leverage on technology and teams, reduce your workload, and grow without burning out. And if you're an investor, we share practical ways to earn higher returns using tech, timing, and better decision making. Everything we publish is based on proven strategies and real results from real people. So if you want to earn more, work better, and make smarter decisions, visit the 10xfactors.com and start today. Today's guest is Simon So. Simon helps business owners and CEOs to grow and scale their businesses through value creation. Welcome, Simon. I just want to ask you, in terms of your experience and your knowledge, how do you actually grow and scale a business through value creation?
I want to make a distinction between profit and value. You will probably notice that there are companies who are not profitable from the accounting point of view, but are able to attract investors or the market at 40 times, 100 times, even 400 times the PE. Now, value is what investors see in terms of potential in a business, not the current profit per se. And of course, my job is to help business owners, businesses who are managed by either professional CEOs or even the families to not only grow, but to scale their businesses so that they can add the value perception or the value reality in the market.
But how do you create value along the lines of what you're saying?
Now, when you talk about value, we can ask a few questions as to why companies are not perceived as valuable. The first point we can talk about is, does the company lack recurring revenue, or does the company has cash flow that is unpredictable? If the company does not have recurring revenue, meaning that it is so project-based, you don't even know when your next revenue is coming from. And if your cash flow is not predictable, then that company is not perceived as valuable. It is profitable, no doubt, but is it valuable? The second point is, if the company lack healthy growth rate and have insufficient scaling model, then will the investor wants to put money in this company? Now, end of the day, when you are a business owner, while profit is the bottom line right now as we speak, the owner would also want to be able to exit the business one day. Now, there are a lot of businesses, especially family-owned businesses, who think of passing the business to their next generation and perhaps next generation and next generation. But today's world, it is not necessary that you have to pass the business to the next generation. You can look at how to create value in the company so that the investors out there would be able to see value, and as your title say, 10x, 20x, 500x, are they willing to pay that kind of money to your organization or to your businesses or to your company? And if you have those cash, then obviously your next generation do not have to be forced to get into the business that you start. With cash, your next generation can start something totally different. So it's a continuation of succession in the sense.
Oh, there's something different because a lot of business owners want their children to carry on the business. They don't ever, I mean, a lot of them don't think about creating enough value so that they can sell it off, and with the cash, their children can do whatever they want. A lot of them
Yeah,
are stuck with the idea that my children, no matter what, they should be able to carry on my business that I've started, you know?
yes,
So
correct.
that's a nice way of looking at it.
Well, if you look at the hedgehog principle from Jim Collins, it is very clear that there are three simple circles. The first circle is called passion. The second circle is called expertise or skills. And the third circle is called economic engine, or something we call business model. How do you make money from your expertise and from your passion? You put the three circles together. If they come together, you have the center of that three circle that's called success. But if a company has passion, or if a person has passion and expertise, but no way to come up with the economic engine or the business model, then I call it hobbies. Just doing something for the sake of enjoyment. If the person has passion and they have also the economic engine or the business model to make money, but they don't have expertise, they will be beaten by competitors. Now, then you go to the other two circles. If they have expertise and they also have the business model, but they don't have the passion, they will eventually quit. So, do you expect your next generation to have the same passion as you? I ask business owners. In
Normally they
today's world,
wouldn't. Normally they
yeah,
wouldn't.
in today's world, there are so much opportunities. Young generations can do almost anything. When I was young, my parents say, you got to study some professional courses, whether it's engineer or accounting or blah, blah, blah. Today, you can even be an artist. You can even be anything you want, and you can still earn money out of that. So the world is very different. So I think for business owners, although we like our children or our next generation to take over, we must always consider their passion, their expertise, and then help them to build the economic engine or the business model to ensure that they monetize their talents, their expertise, and their passion.
So if there are business owners who don't have a recurring income model, what can they do? I mean, a lot of them are project based. So let's say they are a software company. All right, so they create software for other companies, and that's it. You know, you get a big sum, and thereafter maybe there's some maintenance, but it's not going to be a major part of their office. What can they do to increase or make them more valuable by having a recurring income model?
Okay, so the question is how to make them have recurring income. Whether they are valuable or not, there are many other factors. So if assuming a company depends on contract, then I will ask the owner whether they can remodel their businesses, where they can provide certain kind of recurring services, service contract, for example. So there are many things that we will brainstorm with business owners on possibilities to not just depend on the revenue coming in right now, but also look at other possibility of making sure the same customers are prepared to pay monthly or quarterly or yearly service fee.
So basically, just looking at what they have and then seeing what other services or products that they can offer to the same clients in order to have a
Yes,
recurring income. Yeah.
yeah, of course, we start with the same client.
Yeah.
But
It's not
once,
just keep looking for new clients all the time, which some of the businesses out there have fallen into the trap of doing. It can be very uh stressful at times. You're always looking for new clients, you know,
no, no, no,
uh rather than
I
monetizing. more with the same client that you have?
Sure. If you go back to the Ansoff matrix, it is very clear that a company will start with existing client, existing products, and come up with strategies to penetrate the market. In other words, get more market shares. Come a point, a company will have to start looking at product innovation, services innovation to target the same client that they have.
Because they're building upon existing relationships anyways, which is actually the cheapest way to market, right? So they don't really have to spend so much money marketing to new people, to new clients, to get new clients to come in because their existing clients already know them. So to get them to trust them, to buy new stuff from them is a lot easier.
Yeah. So Sean, you used exactly the right word. It's called trust. Every business grow basically fundamentally is due to this word called trust. When a client or a set of clients trust the supplier, that supplier has more opportunities to provide more services to those set of clients. And the trust equation is very simple. It's come from the book called The Trusted Advisor. Maybe your listener might want to take note. Trust is a function of credibility plus reliability plus intimacy divided by selfish orientation.
Oh,
So
okay.
you notice that the numerator has to increase, the credibility must increase, the reliability must increase, the intimacy must increase, and the selfish orientation must decrease, meaning that we strive to have a win-win or win-win-win or win-win-win-win. How many wins can you create in your ecosystem so that there are more trust in the sense that people feel that you're not there for yourself, you're there for others as well, for your clients, for your uh, suppliers, for your employees, and all the stakeholders. They are all in the equation. Now, credibility, based on what I said earlier, is your expertise. So you have certain expertise, and people see Sean as an expert in, say, cryptocurrency. Now you have credibility. Now, reliability, you can have a person who may not be so good in cryptocurrency, but highly reliable. If you want something, I will go and find a solution for you. I will contact Sean. I will contact somebody who is an expert. But you can rely on me to find a solution for you. That's called reliability. And intimacy is what we layman people will commonly call relationship. What is the relationship with your clients, with your employees, with your suppliers, with the government, with all the stakeholders? If your relationship, your intimacy with them is very strong, that also builds trust. So if you can just look at this trust equation and bite it bit by bit and work on your credibility, your reliability, your intimacy, and work on win-win-win-win-win rather than selfish orientation, you certainly can build trust.
What is this equation called again?
Well, it's from the book called The Trusted Advisor.
The trusted advisor. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Well,
The
that's
book is
a very, very nice way of putting it in terms of
yes,
the equation.
yeah, and it's also something that HR disease, a organizational consultant for 35 over years, based on whenever he does his consulting work. If any company has crisis, whether it's with customer, with employees, with suppliers, with whoever stakeholders, the first thing he will look at is how is your trust with this set of people right now?
Right. So
Makes
that's
sense?
that's the core.
Yeah, it's the core. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Wow. So okay, you mentioned earlier there are two or three different ways to create increased value, right? So the first one
Yes,
is
many, many ways, not just two or three.
okay, then maybe
We have tons and tons of ways to create values. Of course, in this session, I don't have the time to go through all the methods, but you can ask me a question and I will do my best to answer whatever you want to learn about valuation or value of the company.
The second thing you mentioned earlier, other than the first one, which is uh, creating subscription, creating recurring revenue. What was the second thing that you mentioned earlier?
Uh, the second thing is the insufficient scaling model.
So when you say insufficient scaling model, it means that they don't have a system in place to scale up.
Wait, system is just one of the many components of being able to scale. If you go back to basic scaling, there are only four pillars to scaling. The first pillar is called people. If you have the right set of people, and therefore hiring, retaining, and motivating your people is very, very important. Now, I used to work for an organization, American organization, where they tell me that even Ninkompu can make money for them.
Even who?
Ninkompu means not so clever
Oh,
people.
right. Okay.
If you look at a lot of people who are successful, they will also tell you the same thing. A organization is a place where ordinary people should be able to achieve extraordinary results.
So you're saying
And
you
as a
don't
CEO,
need everyone to be extraordinary within a company to
I'm saying
achieve.
ordinary people come together and form a super team. This is also the work of HRDCs when you talk about organizational life cycle. If you can put people together, and these people come from different characters. In simple terms, he says that people comprise of producers, administrators, entrepreneurs, and integrators. Producers are people who get results right now. They are very short-term driven. They work very hard. They work 6 to 9. If you want to talk about the Alibaba kind of culture, they are very, very focused on getting result now. They want to make profit now. They can't wait for 2 years, 3 years. The entrepreneur is just the opposite. They also want to make profit, but they are patient enough to say, let's look longer term. Let's look 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. The entrepreneurs take risk. The producer doesn't take risk. The entrepreneur will start a business. And if the entrepreneur start a business and doesn't have a team member who is a producer, that organization will eventually die. It's called infant death. Even before the child can grow, even before the infant can grow, it dies. So an entrepreneur that starts a business must immediately have another team member who is a producer. Then you got a short-term, long-term view.
Wow.
You got a risk taker and also the people who are just driving results. So then there's the administrator. The administrator is basically, in simple terms, called your processes, your systems, your documentations, and everything that will make this company very, very efficient. That is the administrator. And then on the other side, you got the integrator. The integrator are what you call people's people. They are very good leaders. They know how to motivate people. If somebody is feeling depressed, go and talk to the integrator. Immediately you feel happy. They are very good in charming people, but it doesn't mean they get results. So if
These
you
are
want
the these
efficiency,
are the people who are good at dealing with people.
yes, absolutely. So if you want efficiency, short-term efficiency is processes. Long-term efficiency, you go and hire the integrators. I also work for these American companies where they have to cut costs. And the promise was to cut 1 million US dollar. And they are not using just administrator or processes to cut costs. They were able to get people together, form task force. And all the ideas are coming from people. In terms of small little savings, like let's cut the quality of forested paper, to longer term savings ideas, they all come from people. So between the administrator and integrator, administrator is very immediate short-term efficiency. Integrator is long-term efficiency. Producers and entrepreneurs are about effectiveness. Producers are short-term effectiveness. Entrepreneurs are long-term effectiveness. So between the four energies, the producer, the entrepreneurs, the administrators, and the integrators, you have all the effectiveness, long-term, short-term, efficiency, long-term, short-term covered. So if you hire right people, and all these people have all these four energies, even ordinary people can become extraordinary team.
That's a very good way of looking at things, because when people hire, they are not hiring based on what you've just said. It's basically whether you are suitable for the job. This is job scope, can you do it? And basically, I don't think they even look at the person and say, is this a person a risk taker or things like that.
Yeah, it's very common for SMEs.
Hmm.
We are all short-term driven. They have to make profit every month, every quarter. And therefore, we cannot fault them for hiring people who can get immediate results.
But if you are stuck in a short-term thinking, then you're not planning for the long term. Therefore, you lose out in the long run.
So value creation is about long-term thinking as well.
Yes.
So as a CEO, as the business owner, are you involved in longer-term thinking to be able to help the organization add more value rather than just driving profits? So the first component of scaling is people. The second component of scaling is strategy or business model. Now, when you have the right people in place, who creates the strategy?
The
It's
people.
the people. It's not the CEO. It's not the business owner. The business owner and the CEO should have a big picture view and let their people develop strategies. In simple terms, what is strategies? Strategy is basically the means of us getting from A to B. Now, if you have very clear goals as a CEO, as a business owner, I want to be able to create this company to be valued at 10 times its current value. Now, that goal is very clear. Then let your people strategize how to get there. Now, if the people are hired correctly, motivated correctly, with the right value systems and more aligned to the organization, and they are able to creatively and together sit down and develop strategies, then the third pillar to scaling is implementation or execution. Now, implementation execution is about how do I make sure that this strategy can be executed effectively with the least cost or the least resources. Now, if you can execute effectively and still use less resources, wouldn't your business profit margin increase? It should increase, right?
The value
So
of the
therefore,
company will also increase at the same time.
yeah, company value must increase. Of course, investors will start to see that this company has potential. Now, if the implementation is done well, execution is done well, then the fourth pillar to scaling is what you call your cash. When you have more and more margins, more and more profit, all this gets into reserve retained earnings. You have more cash. And what happens to the cash? You can use the cash for so many things, including hiring even better people. And the cycle keeps going round and round. Yeah, you have cash, you can do wonders. So many things you can do with cash.
It's like what Apple is doing right now. They have a lot of cash, so now they have a lot of options.
Mhm.
So they will figure out what is strategic for their long-term vision.
Yeah, of course, strategy at a higher level. To emphasize that strategy is not the domain of the CEO.
All right.
The CEO will strategize on the company. Either we call it corporate strategy or business strategy. When it comes to the day-to-day, it's called functional strategy. Whether it's marketing strategy, sales strategy, production strategy, and so on and so forth. So as long as there is something you have to do in terms of bringing you from A to B, doesn't matter whether it's high level or low level, you're all involved in strategy creation.
So if someone wants to scale up his business, they come to you for advice. So you're a consultant for
Yeah, of
them.
course. I have I'm now 70 years young.
Ah, okay.
I started work at the age of 21. I work for 8 different industries. And right now, my main focus is helping business owners and CEOs to grow their businesses and to scale their businesses through value creation. So I've been doing this work for 20 years. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, you can read all the books you want. If you come to my house, you'll see probably about 2,000 books. Nowadays, I don't even read the books. I just go to ChatGPT or DeepSeek. I can get summaries of all the books I have. But my point is that contents are nice to have. What is more important is how do you translate contents into ability to transform into results. So
What
from content to result is a process. And a company A and company B doing the same business, even in the same target market, can have totally different processes, even though the content may be the same.
Yeah.
So we must be careful, not just get advice. We must make sure whoever is advising you is able to understand your context. Your context is as important as what is out there. Because Mr. A and Mr. B can have totally different character, different philosophies, different way of thinking, perhaps even different passion. So their way of strategizing, their strategy they implement can be very different between A and B. Although same business, same market.
And they may not have the same ideas or concepts. They may not even know of how to proceed. So
Yes.
it requires a lot of wisdom in a sense. I mean,
Yes.
if you've not been through it, you're just guessing. A lot of business owners are just doing that. And to them, hiring a consultant is like, they don't even think about it.
You are absolutely right, Sean.
Right.
Absolutely right. Hit it on the nail. Because right now, as you say those words, I'm thinking now of this mantra that I have. It goes this way. Human already have the resources they need to succeed. Let me repeat. Human already have the resources they need to succeed. My job is to help them make the unconscious conscious. You do not know what you do not know. But within you, you have all the resources. It's
If you
just that
know, if only
it's
you
being
know.
buried. It's being buried.
Yeah.
It's not conscious. My job is to make it conscious for you. And when you become conscious, then you get this, aha, how come I never think about it? How come it's so simple and yet I never think about it?
Because you're
I
too
always
busy
like,
with other stuff, running a
yeah,
company.
I always like Albert Einstein's quote when he says that everyone can make something simple complex. In fact, a lot of consultants, they like to make something simple complex because they want to make money out of it. It takes a genius to make something complex simple. And I have known quite a few very successful business people. Their thinking are very, very simple. Don't they become, the more simple they are, the more they see the aha. The more complex they get, the more they miss the forest. They just keep seeing the wood. We say that the details are the devils, you know.
The
So the
devil is
more
in the
you get the
details.
details,
Yeah.
the more confused you can get. So anyway,
Okay.
just to repeat, I'm here to help people to make their unconscious conscious, because within them, they already have the resources they need to succeed.
Awesome. It's a very enlightening session. Didn't expect that actually. Right? You're going really into some of the most important things that we all should know about, but don't really
Yes.
know about. Like
Well,
like what
you
you
know,
said, you don't know what you don't know, or it's
yeah.
actually inside you. You do know, but just someone has to bring it out to tell you this is how it works and this is the sequence.
Yeah, you go back to a very, very basic 5,000 years model, a four matrix by Lao Tzu. He says, I know that I know, I know that I don't know, I don't know that I know, and I don't know that I don't know. Now, which matrix is biggest?
This
My
is
opinion
5,000 years old. I didn't know.
is Lao Tzu.
Oh,
So, whatever it is, the I don't know that I don't know is a huge box.
that's the biggest box actually.
That is the biggest box.
And you need to acknowledge that you don't know everything. But a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. They think they know everything or they think they can find out, but they don't know what they don't know, so they may not even get on to the right track to find out what they need to know.
Absolutely. Now, I
Right.
want to also emphasize that this level of thinking is mostly for business owners and CEOs. If you are a executive, day to day having to get results, please don't get into the I don't know, I don't know. You better get into the I know that I know. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Huh? There are a lot of businesses that can grow, especially when I see a lot of SMBs in Malaysia. I see that they all have potential to grow. It's just that owners and CEOs have to surface up and see the bigger picture. Look at all these things like the four energies: producer, administrator, entrepreneur, integrator, and say, do I have all these four energies in my company? If I have them, how do I make them able to work together and come up with the right strategies? And if they come up with the right strategies, how do I make sure that I can help them implement? Call it the Toyota production system, call it whatever you want. It is how to get the result with least resources. And then we can keep generating more and more cash, which can use for so many other possibilities and keep growing and growing. And eventually, when you have all these things, investors will see a lot of potentials.
Okay, thank you so much, Simon, for your wisdom and for sharing your thoughts and experiences about how to grow and scale a business. There are a lot of stuff in there that will be useful to a lot of our listeners for sure. And for
Mhm.
those of you who are interested, you can learn more about Simon by emailing him at simonso8, the number 8, at gmail.com. One more time, Simon, SIMONSOH, number 8, at gmail.com. And by the way, if you'd like to be a guest on this show, you're looking for high achievers with your own insights to share that can increase the earnings of employees, entrepreneurs, and investors, you can get in touch with me at senzi@the10xfactors.com.